Duncan Catchpole, hello. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks.
Good. Thanks for joining us once again. Now, this week we're talking about food quality, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Tell us more.
Yes, so people sort of often cite the reasons for buying organic food as great for the environment, nice and healthy to eat, but they also talk about it in terms of a better quality of food. And I think that's important, really, because as virtuous as the other two things are, i.e. sustainable and environmentally friendly method of food production and intrinsically healthy for you to eat, if that didn't manifest itself as better quality food, then it really wouldn't have the same appeal, and the organic movement sort of wouldn't be experiencing the kind of success that we currently are. For me, I'd say it's definitely the thing that's top of the list that's attracted me to organic food. It stands to reason, there's so many things where care and attention are put into its production. You come out with something better, a better end product with better eating qualities, flavour, texture, quite often because the farmers will choose to grow varieties that have those qualities to them rather than the conventional markets which look for things like shelf life or appearance on the shelf as their main criteria. So not necessarily the things that to do with the eating qualities.
So would you say that you still can't find really food quality in non-organic produce?
That's a rather blanket statement I wouldn't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
Because the difference tends to be the commercial, mass-produced stuff versus sort of artisan, small-scale production that has this sort of little bit of care and attention. And of course, that's not always necessarily the same as being organic. But you tend to find that those smaller scale artisan producers will have a tendency to sort of err towards the organic side of things. And quite often you might find a food producer who isn't necessarily certified organic, but perhaps uses a few organic ingredients because they recognise that sort of quality.
So they
element.
might use a similar methodology and use the same ways of really taking care of the product, but they might not be labelled as organic.
Quite right, yes, yeah.
How easy is it to spot organic produce?
Well, that should be absolutely irrefutably easy to do because organic is a legal term, a legal definition. And so any food that is organic will be labelled as such, and unless the person that's done the labelling is very naughty indeed and they will get found out, that is your guarantee that the produce is organic. You can look for a symbol that will guarantee that the produce is organic. The most recognised one is the Soil Association symbol, but there are others as well. Organic Farmers and Growers is another certifying body, as is the Organic Food Federation.
Now, obviously, you own the Cambridge Organic Food Company, but is most of your diet organic food, honestly?
Yes.
You hesitated.
There's a little hesitation. There are certain areas where it's difficult to eat organic food. Eating out is the one of the situations that I always sort of mention. Certainly, if I'm not eating organic food, I'll certainly look for something free range or something that's been locally produced in particular. I'm a great advocate for eating anything that's sort of been produced locally in small scale. Like, for example, I buy my meat from our local farm. It's not certified organic, but it's all free range. It's above all fantastic quality. I really would consider myself to be a foodie. I really do love my food. And it's something that I'd really try and encourage. This is the Food and Drink Show, so I'm sure a lot of the listeners are themselves sort of already interested in food. But if you are, a foodie, if you make food your passion, your hobby even, you get to indulge that passion on a daily basis. It really is fantastic for your quality of life. Don't choose something sort of expensive, like going off and playing sort of golf or whatever.
Or learning to fly or something.
Yes, yeah. I'm quite new to cooking. I'm almost embarrassed to say. Turn the clock back a few years and I was widely considered to be a sort of a kitchen disaster area. I remember there was one sort of home economics class at school where I actually got awarded the prize for the most improved student of the class, and there was this boy at the back, I think his name was Beamish. He went, "What?" sort of utter dismay, and the teacher had to point out it's most improved, therefore implying that I really was terrible to begin with. But no, I think it's having my daughter really started and looking after her, I started to do more of the domestic chores.
When you have to start feeding another life and realising the food that's going into their system and what they have to eat as well, not just yourself, because often I suppose you can neglect yourself and not really worry about what you're eating.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing how many sort of our customers in particular are people with young families, and suddenly that kind of there's that slight switch in their psyche. But I've got really into it, and of course when you're preparing your food yourself, you know just the way that you like to have it, and you can work to achieve that.
Brilliant. Well, Duncan, we will see you again next week for another segment. Would you just remind listeners of your web address in case people want to find out more information?
It's www.cofco.co.uk. That's cofco.co.uk.
And that's
an acronym of Cambridge Organic Food Company.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Duncan.